So from Picogram, we got to see the game Garden Story on Indie on Thursday, and that's a weird way to say it, Indie on Indie Direct that was on Thursday. I I don't know. I thought the art style looked kind of cool, and the idea of maybe like a different version of a Stardew Valley or something like that seemed really interesting to me. Uh, I will say that's not what this game is. I'm not exactly sure what this game is. You are a little grape or a little concord, and you are in what is called the kindergarten, in a little garden. And your job is to help the garden grow and blossom as there is corruption and rot that goes throughout the garden, destroying plants. And again, your job is to try to fight off the rot and to keep the plants growing. At that same time, you get to interact with other fruits and vegetables that are in the garden. And if you're just listening to me talk about this game, you're probably thinking, what kind of mescaline trip is someone on? When you actually see the gameplay, it's easier to swallow and easier to digest. Now, here's my issue with the game. And this is a big one because it really hinders my ability to review the game. Um, I got to a certain point about 2 hours in or so, and then I went back to play a little bit more to get ready for this review. I've only had a day, so bear with me. I've had 4 different games to review, and not a lot of time. And made it more difficult was the fact that when I went to go back and play the game, it wouldn't load. I just got a blank screen. And so, as I was probably gonna, and let's be honest, I think I only played like an hour of the game. So as I was gonna play more on that hour, explore more, discover new mechanics, maybe learn more about the game than what I couldn't because all I got was this black screen. Well, I waited for forever. Um, Honestly, like about 15 minutes, just sat there in front of a black screen. Okay, something's wrong. Closed out of the Nintendo Switch. Went back to close the game for like the third time. Tried to reopen it, and then it finally opened. But when it opened, all of my save data was gone. So I had to start all over from the beginning. And needless to say, as I got ready to do this review, I didn't have the time put in to really say very much, except for this is a game about being a grape where you go around trying to take care of a garden and you have to fight off these bad guys called rot, and you interact with other creatures that live in the garden. And all of that doesn't really paint a good picture as to what this game is. I don't know. Maybe it does. Uh, Maybe someone has played more than I have, and I would be interested in if you have, or more so, I'd be interested if you had the same experiences that I've had. Even starting it up to do the video for the game or for this review, um, I had like controller connection issues. I've had issues where I hit start to go into the game and then it just stopped. I've had a lot of technical problems with this game, and I hate that because it's from an indie company, and I like to support and give good reviews for indie companies. But at the same time, I can't, in good conscience, say, "Hey, go spend $20, which is how much this game costs, to play this game that is just filled with bugs." I mean, super, super amount of bugs. The point that you can't play it or you'll lose all your save files. Um, that you can't even explore. I don't know. And maybe my situation was just one that it's an anomaly, doesn't happen very often, and it just happened to happen to me. Maybe something happened with my Switch. Maybe something happened. Now it's weird because no other game did this. This was the only game that I've had problems with, so I tend to think that it is on Pictogram and Garden Story. But yeah, my overall review is going to be incredibly incomplete. And if I'm being honest, I don't know if I'm going to go back to it. Because what I did play just didn't impress me as much as the other indie games I picked up. And I would say that this falls in line as to one of those games that um, I think it has the potential to be good, and I would never steer anyone away from buying a game if they're interested in it, or if they think it's really good, or they've seen more reviews, or they've done more research, and think this is gonna be like their kind of game. That's fantastic. But if you haven't played it, you know nothing about it, I would say save your money on this one, at least until there's an update, until I hear more about it. To be honest, I haven't even looked into see if other people have had this problem besides me. Um, but I figure there's probably not a lot of people reviewing Garden Story right now. There's just so many other things to talk about. But anyway, that unfortunately is my review of Garden Story. Hopefully they get it patched. Hopefully something more comes out. So I'm not gonna give up on it. I'm not. I think I am for a couple weeks here, and see if in a couple weeks that they maybe put in a patch or two, and it becomes one of those games that there's more to it. You don't always have to play a game at launch, and that's fine. You can go back into the backlogs for a little while, and maybe I'll pull it out later when there's just more time to discover what this game is about. But at the moment, I've got to say, I would not get it. But anyway, thanks a lot, guys.